Welcome, everybody, again to the Gentlemen Still Exist podcast. This is the 4th episode. This is the final episode, man.
It's been a long journey, huh?
Yo, man, it's been a long journey for sure. And, thank you for rocking with us. We spoke about a number of things. We spoke about fashion, we talked about family.
We talked about wearing white pants, paying for dates.
My man shifted up this whole wardrobe after the white pants, right?
So did you.
I mean, but, I still had to wear the Jordans, though. You feel me, right?
So you left me hanging. I thought we were going to wear some shoes together,
man. You all good, man. But, but it is all about being a gentleman, right? So gentlemen could wear Jordans and could also wear some shoes.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
But it's the last episode, This episode right here, man, it's, I really wanted to just talk about just like purpose.
Oh, of course. Like, what is a man without purpose?
Right?
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's say it better. What is a gentleman without purpose? Bars, man.
I would like to ask you, how does a gentleman find that purpose? And what defines that purpose, I should say?
I heard someone say, there's two pivotal points in a person's life. And number one is when they were born. And number two is when they discovered why, And I think that's where it aligns your purpose. I think that purpose is something that you live and breathe, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think that so many people are just living life day by day and it's just passing them by and they don't know, they have no sense of direction. What do you think?
I would say that I think people aren't looking at what's their passion. What's in their heart, what motivates them. Whatever that thing is, that should be your purpose.
But then I also think too, though, and going back to the previous episodes, is how can you think about all of that when the rent is due?
Yes.
Or when Con Edison, for those who live in New York Tri-State area, is saying, hey, we're going to shut off the light. Or, with black folks, they're like, yo, we can't pay the cable. We can't survive without cable. Oh, well, so, streaming, yeah, right. Or internet. Yo, we can't survive without internet, right? So, but it's those are the things that, encompasses the fullness of our lives in a sense, right? Where we're unable to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And then there's so many people that are unhappy.
Yeah. It's such a sad sight to see.
Can you imagine, right? So now a lot of people are working remote, right? But, I remember when I was in the corporate world or whatever, and every day would just wake up, get on the train, and I had a job at 42nd Street, 42nd and Park or something like that, right? And every single day in the morning, I would jump on the train and be a sardine on the train, right? Squish, right? Squish, right? But then I'm wow, a lot of people are going to work every day just to pay bills and are just living a life where they don't feel purpose. You know what I'm saying? So how do we find that purpose?
I mean, it's those things that I mentioned. Because if you don't have those things, then what you're doing doesn't mean anything. I think for you, or better yet, let me ask you this. How did you create what we now see is the Gentleman's Factory? What got you to that point to want to create this whole social men's club or social black men's club?
So purpose, right?
Yeah.
I remember I did a big event 2016. And at that event, I had over 300 people there. And they were just all of the guys was what's next? What's next? What's next? I'm what are you talking about? What's next, right? You're just not satisfied with this, you know what I mean? And then, a mentor of mine pulled me to the side and he was Jeff, is this a hobby or is this an enterprise, right? And at the time I was married and I have 2 children, right? So it's what am I, I can't just venture off, right? You know what I'm saying? What am I gonna do? But But then every single day, I would just still feel this burning desire, burning desire, burning desire. And I remember, I was, so I'm a praying man. And I was driving to work one day, and like I heard a voice say, hey, like, prepare your exit strategy, right? Now I'm like, what? Prepare my exit strategy for this job. It's a career. I got a master's in public policy. I have a really powerful job, etc. So what do you mean prepare my exit strategy? And ever since I heard that every single day, I would go to work cringing, saying, why am I here? Right? And truth be told, I think a lot of people have those aha moments, but but it's the fear,
Yeah.
right? And it's being uncomfortable. But I think what people need to really also understand is if you're living outside of your purpose, how do you think other people are experiencing you, given the fact that you're not fully being your full self?
I think people aren't experiencing the best version of you and the most authentic version of you. Because if you're not living in that, it's hard to see who you really are. All you're doing is just playing a character in real life. And all you're doing is just surviving. That's all you're really doing. It kind of reminds me of my own journey when after I graduated undergrad and I wanted to get a job in radio production. And I had a tough time, radio and TV production. And I had a tough time trying to get one just because of lack of experience. And it was such a humbling experience for me because I thought, like everybody else, you go to college and once you get a degree, life starts, right? And unfortunately, life didn't go that way. And I remember I had to face the reality of having to go back to work for retail. And that was a hard pill to swallow.
Wow.
And I remember some of my friends from college saw me and one of them said, hey, like, what are you doing here? Like, you graduated college. Like, how come you're not in one of these big companies? And I'm like, no one hired me. It just didn't pan out for me that well. And I remember after that conversation, like I was hurt. And I had to come to this realization that I needed to do something. So that's when I set out to look for graduate schools. And that's when, in that moment, I was like, you know what? It's time for me to go to graduate school and get my master's and try to see if I can get a little further. And the process took about 2 years because I didn't get in the first time, but when I got in the second time, that's when things started to roll for me. But also too, and I was already, you could say I was already in my purpose, but I fell even deeper in my purpose once I got to graduate school. And then finally, I was able to get to this journey where it's like, all right, I get this internship. Now I can get this job and get this next job. And then I'm here where I am now. So, yeah, man, similar struggles and also having that voice in your head telling you, hey, you need to go and do this so you can get to where you got to go, but also to get that fulfillment.
Yeah, because so many people being unfulfilled, man. And, I think gentlemen, right, it's important that it encompasses the direction that you want to go for your life and, how you impact society. Because if you're not good, then how are you going to be good for society? What I see a lot in men is we're chasing. But we don't even know what we're chasing.
Yeah.
Right? I heard a pastor once say, don't confuse movement with progress.
Yes,
right?
I've heard that too.
And a lot of times we're just going and going and going, and we're not going anywhere, and we're burned out, we're tired, we're exhausted, we're frustrated. And that type of, feeling that we have within, other people experience that, and they experience our wrath, our anger. And if we have someone in our life that we care deeply about, are we holding the door?
Yeah.
Are we, being warm and kind and sweet and loving when we have all of these internal things that's in our head? So I think that it stems with why, understanding your why, understanding your why do you exist? Why do you do the things that you do? Are you living out your full potential? Because you could have the nice Cartier watch, you could have the Rolex, you could have on the white pants like you had in the last episode. You could have a full set of hair. Do you know how many people like don't have a full set of like? Yo, we're blessed, bro.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
definitely.
Yo, I mean, we are blessed, right? Because one of our producers, Kevin, who's no longer, like he's just stepped out. He ain't got no hair, bro. You know what I'm saying, right? Shout out to the brothers who don't got no hair. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not too far. Because I got a big bald spot right here because I'm 6'3".
I don't even see it.
Exactly, right? But I'm saying that to say that we're blessed, man, because of our genetics. But on a serious note, it's like, people experience us based upon how we experience ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. And also, too, to piggyback off of what you were saying earlier, it's important that we find our purpose, and it's important that, we find our why, because that way we can help others that are coming from after us. And this life is not worth living unless you go out of your way and help others, succeed.
But how do you find your why? Like, is there a class that you take? Is it
It's various ways, man. I mean, it could be through your career. It could be, through a life-scaring moment. It could be through cooking one day, being in the shower.
What do you mean a life-scary moment?
I don't know, like a car accident or something.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
something like that.
Well, what I'm thinking about, right? And I was speaking to a great friend of mine, clinical psychologist, Dr. Florentine Jean. I always like to shout out my friends. And she said that if someone doesn't go through something, right? How do you fully embrace the full version of you? Meaning that if you're speaking to someone and then they haven't really gone through anything, then that means either you're living a life of extreme comfortability, so you never want to go outside of that box. You know what I'm saying? Or you're just the most luckiest person on the planet, right? You know what I'm saying? But everyone goes through things if you allow to. Like my entrepreneurial journey, I've been entrepreneur for 7 years full time. What I've been through, right? Like the cash flows, me learning how to, manage my family, all of this stuff, it cost me so much. I could have given up so many times, right? I could have said, like, this entrepreneurship thing, no, let me go back to work, right? I got a lot of great connections. I have a lot of, I have a nice resume. Check out my LinkedIn. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like my resume, you know what I'm saying? I got to update it though.
Yeah, that watch says your resume is
no,
good.
I mean, right? I mean, God is good. God is good, right? You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying though is that there were a lot of times where I could have just said, forget all of this. Let me go back to what I know and what is easier, right? But the way that diamonds are made, it's through pressure and it's going through the fire, bro. My challenge with myself is that I think I'm the most ambitious person anybody will ever meet.
Really?
Absolutely. Because I believe the world is mine too. Meaning that I don't have a cap or a limitation of what I can and can't do. So because I believe that this world is mine also, there's nothing that I believe that I can't do. And what the issue is with a lot of people is that there is this mental block that they have where they believe that the world isn't theirs. Going back to the previous episode where I was saying, whereas like when it comes to parenting, how we parent our children, where we overly discipline them. But what that does, it is putting them in a box where it's saying, hey, like you can only fit within this framework. And obviously rules are important. I'm not saying anyone shouldn't break rules, etc. But what I'm saying though is that I had to unlearn all of these systematic mental blockages that I now believe that I could fly, right? I'm not trying to
Yeah.
pull all Kelly, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, right? But Space Jam, right? Space Jam, right? You know what I mean? Space Jam. but what I'm saying though is that that's where my ambition lies though, right? Is because if I believe that I could do something, then the only thing that's stopping it is me.
That's interesting because I've noticed not every dude has that. Why do you think that is?
Because society tells you to sit down, shut up and dribble,
Yeah.
or shut up and, just do like you're not supposed to disrupt the status quo, right? You're not supposed to want more. You're not supposed to, go the extra mile. You're not supposed to, say like you're supposed to be satisfied with that one house. Why do you need three? Why do you need wealth? Why do you need generational wealth? Why do you need for your children's children to be blessed? Why, black man? You're supposed to sit down, be quiet, and be happy that cops are not killing you. That's it. You see what I'm saying? Right? Like that's the societal norm when it comes to us, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, wait, like why are you looking to travel? Remember the previous episode where you were saying how you're looking to travel and then, you would want when you have children 6 months, 9 months from now, you know what I'm saying? Right? You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm just saying, right? When you have children very soon, that you would want to expose them. You know what I'm saying? Why? You're not supposed to dream like that, right? Doesn't society tell you that? No?
Yeah, of course. And it's a shame that they do because can't put a limit on how a person dreams. Can't put a limit on how a person feels. It's interesting you say all those things because for me, there's a fire that burns inside me. And there's this hunger for more. It's like I can have this, but I want that. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So for me, I can't stop even if I wanted to. That fire is too strong. I got to keep going.
You have a fire and you know where it is, right? And you're looking towards that. A lot of people can feel the heat, but they don't know where the fire is.
Yeah.
So they're just moving. And I think the fire is where your purpose lies. Watch this. So that you could get burned. What I mean by getting burned, you got to go through that furnace sometimes, man. See what I'm saying? Yo, that's a good sermon. What? You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
man.
Pastor Lindor.
Yo, man, right? So that you can get burned. No, but because diamonds have to go through that, right? It's not easy. People think that this is easy. It's not. It's not, but it's the most rewarding thing that you wake up every single day knowing the reason why you are here, knowing why you're up, knowing that you have a vision, you have a goal, you have something that you were designed to do. And absent of that, you can work at a job for 30 years and still hate it. And you're stuck paying that rent, paying that mortgage, living that lifestyle. You could be doing so much more, yo.
100% right. One of the last things I want to touch on is fulfillment. Where do you feel like fulfillment plays a role, in your purpose?
For me, it's about impact, right? Impact. How can I leave this world better than where I saw it, right? How? And I understand the capacity that I have currently, and I'm expanding my capacity so that I can help more people, help more communities, help more neighborhoods, help more countries, right? But that's how my mind is designed. So fulfillment is based upon how many people, and I measure that through a number of different factors, right? Revenue, right? We need a lot of revenue because money makes things sustainable. I need to hire people. I need to, invest in things, invest in people, make things sustainable, right? So so there's just so many things for me, right? Like and for folks who know me well, I would never be a part of something just for money. Just for money. Absolutely not, right?
I'm the same. Yeah.
I think money is really important. Money is extremely important because it makes things sustainable, right? Like we got Gentleman's Factory. That's a $5,000 couch right there, right? You know what I'm saying? Like we got some, we have great taste, for the member community that we've cultivated, et cetera. And that's not cheap, right? Mm-hmm. But it goes beyond the thing, right? But more so on what is it that we're doing and where is it that we're going, So, but like, what are some of the things that fulfills you though, man?
I would say my career, the work that I do, and where in that field, the work that I do, music and in sports, really particularly like hip hop and R&B music, and then I would say basketball, but I'm pretty broad when it comes to sports. So
you still got hoop dreams, bro?
No.
Oh,
not
now,
those
I was about to say, I'm like,
no.
Like you well into your 30s and then you think about going to the NBA, bro?
No.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Those dreams died like 20 years ago.
Okay, got you.
But those things give me fulfillment. Seeing my friends, my peers succeed, that gives me fulfillment too. Making my mother happy, that gives me fulfillment. So, and other people in my family as well. Can't forget them.
Yeah,
that gives me fulfillment.
Do you know, like how you are speaking? Do you know what you sound like?
What?
You really want to know what you sound like?
Tell me.
You sound like a gentleman, bro. You sound like a gentleman, right? Gentleman, the way that I define gentleman is you have a comprehensive approach to life that goes beyond you as an individual. Because as you think about other people while also constantly enhancing you and working on yourself, then the world will experience your gentlemanness. You know what I mean? That was a word that we created during this podcast, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Well, how do you define gentleman? Try to beat that. Try to be what I just said. You know what I'm saying?
No,
you know what I mean?
I can't. I can't beat that. I would say how you treat others, but more importantly, how you treat yourself. If you're not good to yourself, then you're not good. Then you're no good to others. That's basically it for me, right there.
Yeah. I mean, so moral of the story, I mean, for the listeners and the viewers here, yes, in this podcast series, the goal was really to just talk about what's going on in society, talk about how Black men are viewed, and to also talking about how Black men, how we oftentimes view ourselves, right? And it's really important that you take care of yourself, that you love yourself, that you invest in yourself. Because as Brandon and I just said, if you're no good to yourself, then by default, you're going to be even worse to others, right? So it starts with you, man. So gentlemen, we want to make sure that you guys are good. Seek the help that you need, invest in your body, invest in your mental. What are some other things that you think that gentlemen should be investing in?
Invest in their families, invest in their friends, the ones that really mean the most to you.
Yeah. And then you see, Brandon, the first thing he said was invest in family. So that means that he's going to start a family really soon, right? You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah, he said it. I didn't even say it.
Not
right?
anytime soon.
Oh, okay. All right. So make sure that you check him a year from now because he'll probably have twins. But the main purpose of this, again, is to, gentlemen, like, we care about you guys. We love you guys. Society, regardless of how society treats you, we're here for you, man. And, this was a good series, man.
Yeah, man,
You know what
I
mean?
enjoyed it. It was a fun ride.
No, man, thank you for hanging out with me, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
thank you.
saying?
Thank you for inviting me.
So what's next with you? Like, what's next for you? Where can we find you?
Well, I am currently working on a story for rockthebells.com on September 29th, 1998, the 25-year anniversary of one of the greatest days in hip hop. The day that A Tribe Called Quest's Love Movement came out, Jay-Z's Volume 2, Hard Knock Life Volume 2 came out, Outkast's Aquemini album came out, Brand Nubian's Foundation, and the Black Star album came out. So I'm working on that story, how important and how critical that day was and how it, it influenced hip hop going forward. 25-year anniversary. So look for that on rockthebells.com.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. And with us here at Gentleman's Factory, make sure if you're in the New York area, look to become a member of the movement that we're creating. We're opening up more locations throughout the tri-state area, and we're looking to expand. We have a lot of really interesting things that's happening that, follow us on Instagram and on our socials so that you can stay up to date. We just want to say, gentlemen, please take care of yourselves. We appreciate you. We're here. Let's continue to build. Let's continue to change the world. Peace. Thank you all.